Today we are having a wonderful visit with Pastor Earnestine at Epworth United Methodist Church. Thank you, Pastor Ernie, for having us.
Well, you are so welcome. Thank you for taking the time out to speak with me.
Well, we had the pleasure of worshiping with you one Sunday, and I left so fulfilled. It was just purely focused on worship, serving the Lord. You taught His Word, and when it was all over, we just left everybody feeling good, and it was just a wonderful and positive environment. Because sometimes I think we get sidetracked with so many things of the world, and then we kind of lose focus of what we're supposed to be doing. But you are a trailblazer. I tell you, I was so impressed. One of your parishioners is one of my social media friends, and he just really, was giving you high praise, and I kept following every Sunday, and this is started even back, with COVID, and I said, oh, and then every week he would post what the subject was, what the sermon would be, and I was like, oh, that's a very good subject. And so he said, well, you should visit, and I said, I will. And then I didn't actually tell him which Sunday. I said, when he posted for that morning, and I said, see you later. And then we showed up. And it was really worth changing what we normally do, because we do worship, other places. And I was like, this was a smart and wise decision. And you were everything he said you was. Thank you.
Thank you.
So how did you get here? This is Epworth United Methodist
Church.
And how long has it been here?
This church has been here since 1961.
Really?
And so as a congregation, I've been here since 2020.
In the middle of COVID.
In the middle of COVID, which was a rough time for everyone, not just
Yes.
the church, but just for families, friends, and other organizations and institutions. And so I want to say thank you so much for that high praise that you gave to this church from attending worship service. We are a word-based church, and so I'm glad that you felt that and you were revived when you left from here. I know I've seen you on social media as well, and commenting on the church and so forth, and I'm so grateful for your support in that way. And yes, our church member that you are friends with on social media, he does a wonderful job of keeping us, out here publicly, and the sermon title and references and so forth. And I really pray about those titles and hope that they will attract people to be interested in the Word of God.
You've had some powerful ones.
Thank you.
I mean, and very much needed.
Yes.
For things that we are dealing with outside of the church walls.
Amen.
And it's just really, and then even your outreach, that's phenomenal. And then your Wednesday, your Bible studies. And see, I know what you're over here doing.
You know everything about what we're doing over here. You are keeping up.
Yes, and then you're going to have supper. And what are you all going to have when you have supper? And the game nights for the children. And I keep up with that.
You are keeping up with
absolutely, because we have to do more than what we do on Sunday.
Yes.
And you actually have an active outreach.
We do.
And then that's the thing that our young people, they need a safe haven.
Yes.
Yeah. So you blazed this trail.
Yes.
And when I got here, I was like, wow, she is really fabulous.
Thank you.
And not just with bringing the word, but just even in the engagement with the parishioners before and after. And then I realized as we were speaking that you're actually the first of this since what, 1961?
1961.
So you're the first African American.
I am.
And came here in the middle of COVID.
I did.
So you really was asking the Lord what was up with that.
I'm going, God, you have a sense of humor. I know for certain that you have a sense of humor. But I was appointed here. I worked for the conference, and so I was a part of the Bishop Extended Cabinet as one of the associate directors. And so my portfolio was multiculturalism, just all of the things that go with that, women, children, indigenous people, of course, African American people, and so forth. And so that was kind of my wheelhouse here for 4 years. Before then, I was an associate pastor at the local church. And so when I came here in COVID 2020, and as African-American black pastor,
Yes.
and a woman on top of that.
I know.
So I had two things going on. I had race going on. I had gender going on. And so I first met the people via mask. So they did a reception for me and my family and outside, and so it was a drive by. And so we teased that now we got to get to know everybody without a mask on once we came back into in-person worship.
Right.
So the people were very warm, very open and receptive to my family and to me as their pastor. And so it has continued. I know some haven't returned after COVID like so many other churches.
Right.
And so
some are just doing it virtual.
Some, and
right.
we do have the online worship.
Mm-hmm.
So we have it virtually. They tune in. They're supportive. So it has been a blazing of a trail that could have been more difficult for me. And I thank God, because God is always in the plan.
Yes.
That it has turned out to be fruitful. And so the way I look at fruitfulness, those things that you called out, the ministries that are being done here, the people, it may not be a packed house every Sunday, or
I don't think a lot of the churches are a packed house anymore since COVID.
Since COVID. And so what I do, I always try to keep a positive attitude. I don't look at it, well, maybe it's not packed because you know, they now have a black pastor and a black woman pastor.
Well, you're excellent.
Well, thank you.
No, and you're a wonderful teacher. You know, and it's word-based.
Yes.
And then it's not laced with a lot of the other things that could be a distraction. And a lot of folks that's coming into the house of worship for the first time, it needs to be clear. Clarity is very important.
It is.
They don't need to leave confused
That's
and have a feeling that they never want to return.
That's right.
So, I mean, you were, you know, just on it, straightforward, clean, simple, everything, the hymns of praise and before and after, you know, the word. Just really important for those of us that were raised in the church, because you were raised.
I was raised Baptist and AME.
Right.
And so once I got to make my own decision at the age of 12, I went AME. My parents are originally from, and they're deceased now, Hatchachubby, Alabama.
Well, that's where my mother is buried.
Oh, really?
At St. Luke, AME, in
Yes.
Hatchachubby. My great-grandfather was the pastor there.
Oh my!
See, it's a small world.
Small world, yes. And that's where my parents are buried at. My mother at Howard Chapel, and my daddy at Mount Olive.
My grandmother is buried. One of my relatives, my grandmother's mother, is buried at Howard Chapel. And my cousin Eddie Jr. used to play the piano there.
Oh my goodness!
And he works for the city. Oh, really? So it's a small world. It is.
And
but you were always raised in the church.
I was always raised in the church. And then I again went AME once I was old enough to make my own decision. And later on, in my late 20s, I joined UMC. So,
which is United Methodist
Church.
Okay.
That's correct.
So what we're going to do before we go deeper, because we might be relatives, we're going to take a break right now and go to our sponsors.
All right,
we'll be right back after word from some of our sponsors.
Straightforward is brought to you by State Senator Ed Harbison, serving the citizens of Georgia's 15th Senatorial District and on the front lines for veterans every day. Progressive Funeral Home, family owned and operated since 1952. The George Ford legacy of high standards continues today in the compassionate and professional services provided. A touch of dignity for those who care. Progressive Funeral Home, 4235 St. Mary's Road, trusted by generations. Whole Patient Healthcare. Dr. Jada Rimes-Bacote is board certified in family medicine. She believes the best patient care includes practical, individualized lifestyle changes. Located at 1338 13th Avenue, Columbus, 706-641-2080, or visit wholepatienthealthcare.com.
And welcome back to Straightforward. I am continuing this wonderful visit with Pastor Earnestine, lovingly known as Pastor Ernie. And my goodness, you might just be my cousin.
I know.
I know your dad is a Williams from Hatchachubby,
Hatchachubby,
and my mother is a Williams from Hatchachubby. So we won't go into that right now. We'll have to follow up on that. And we have cousins in common, the Robinsons, and so we're going to have to talk about that later.
Yes.
So, how did you become a full-time minister? I know you've had the corporate life experience. I know you served on the leadership team with the United Methodist Church. How did all of this, because remember now we was AME and Baptist.
Yes.
And then we went to the United Methodist, which is traditionally a mixed race.
Predominantly white congregation.
In the past, but now it's mixed race that you're pastoring.
I know.
And so, how did all of this happen? Because I know that wasn't your plan.
It was not my plan. God has a way of putting his plan in your life and interrupting your life and intervening in your life and doing something.
Just when you thought you had one, he laughed, right?
He laughed.
Right.
So my undergrad is in human resources, and so from Troy. And I was at Aflac Community Corp for many years.
Okay.
Several years, and so I was in human resources there, and predominantly white organization that I was in terms of structure in human resources and the Community Corp part, which is the printing part. So I was there, and then I moved on after I had my last child. I was at Community Corp, and I left from there, and very involved in the local church at South Columbus UNC. Is where I was, and so in just lay leadership, and began to work there. The pastor offered for me to work there as supervisor, pretty much over the staff and managing the office, and I did for several years. And then God was already calling me, even when I was in corporate world. I can remember some of the employees there that would have issues, and they would come to me, and how we would pray around the corner about the situation, because you couldn't do that.
Exactly, right. People get offended,
yes,
right.
People get offended, and I understand.
Yeah, that's because we have different religions,
yes,
and we have to be respectful of everyone.
That's right, and I always want to be fair.
Exactly. And, what did you say? Equity?
Equity and equality.
Exactly.
Yes, I want to make sure that I'm doing that. So I try to live my life that way, in everything that I do. But so I went there and worked in the office and just over some of the ministries, and then from there I went back into human resources. So I worked at 2 textile industries in Utah, and so they eventually closed and moved over to Honduras, and so many textile industries that happened. Then I went
so
back
the
path was being laid out.
Yes.
I thought I was doing one thing, and then God sent me right back. I guess God is like, do I have to close down these textile industries for you to go back and do what I said?
Folks out of business in America for you to follow your assignment.
Yes.
Right.
It's like, okay, Jonah. And so I went back to the church, and shortly thereafter, I accepted my call into the ministry. It was there. I was running. I knew I was running. And so once I accepted the call, there was a peace that came upon me. I'm not one of the ones that wanted to be on a platform or a stage. Right. I'm kind of more behind the scene person. And I've seen the life up close and personal. And so it was, people don't know the story behind the glory.
It's not as glamorous as it appears, because you were on the bishop's leadership team.
Later on.
Right.
Yeah, so later on, after accepting my call back in 2013, and so I went on to go to seminary shortly thereafter and got my Master of Divinity from ITC, International Interdenominational Theological Center under the GAMIN umbrella, which is United Methodist. And from there, later on, was appointed to the South Georgia UMC conference, where I was an associate director. And I was part of the Bishop Extended Cabinet. And so the conference level is, if you're not in the immediate cabinet, so you're part of the extended. So I did that under the portfolio of multiculturalism and, just all those wonderful things to help people that are marginalized.
And getting all the experience, and the multicultural was really getting you ready for Epworth.
Yes. I didn't know that at the time.
That's a part of that path.
It's part of the whole path.
Yes.
And so when I got the appointment to come here, we're appointed every year, so we may stay at the same place, or you may get
that's like the AME CME church. You get reassigned every year, right?
And so I came here, and the DS, which is the district superintendent at that time, we talked, and of course, this is a predominantly white church that I'm serving.
Yes.
And so
in a predominantly white neighborhood, established neighborhood.
Yes.
Right.
And so I came here, and again, didn't know truly what to expect. I just knew they were people of God. I didn't know how that was translated into being accepted as their pastor, but it did. And so again, it was difficult coming during the COVID time. Like for everybody else, it was just difficult to do ministry and so many other things But I blazed the trail, through the initial part of coming,
Right.
and I'm going into my 4th year of being here, and so there are some other things that need to be done. But I do try to preach from an inclusive lens.
Right.
And I know that's different for, some people that,
Yes.
in a predominant, culture that they're
Right.
in, and not a multi-ethnic culture.
Mhm.
So I do try to preach from a lens that is inclusive to everyone. Again, there's the fairness, there's the equality and the equity that I like to do. There's the diversity. So many times when I preach from the text, it may not be the way that they have heard it before here
Right.
as a church, because I'm coming from a different lens. And so I come from a Eurocentric as well as an Afrocentric lens, because I walk in both of those lights.
See?
So
That's why you're so fabulous. I just love with just having a sidebar conversation with you because it's so engaging. Well, what we're going to do now, go to our break to our sponsors, and we'll be right back. Okay. We'll be right back after word from some of our sponsors.
Columbus Pediatrics GA, working together to build lifelong relationships between our staff and patients by consistently providing compassion, excellence, and value with 2 locations. The Old Town office at 3580 Massey Lane, Suite F, 706-596-8667. The Midtown office, 1900 11th Avenue, Suite A, 706-323-3400, ColumbusPediatricsGA.com. Barbara's Cleaning Service, a 5-star commercial service with satisfied customers in Georgia and South Carolina, built on the principle that every detail matters. Barbara's Cleaning Service, a new season building a family legacy. The Autism Hope Center. Diane Pope has dedicated the last 3 decades ensuring that families had support and resources for their loved ones on the autism spectrum. Join the Autism Hope Center for fellowship and resources, located at 200 Hamilton Road, Suite B, or call 706-604-6333. Muskogee County Coroner Buddy Bryan. Buddy has set high standards for himself and his staff, ensuring that every citizen is treated with dignity and respect, regardless of circumstances. Buddy cares about crime prevention and is always excited to speak with students and community organizations. Reach out to Buddy at 706-653-3260.
And welcome back to Straightforward. I have truly enjoyed this visit with Pastor Earnestine, lovingly known as Pastor Ernie. My great Facebook friend, Mr. Patton, and he's a retired educator, and he is so very faithful to this church and making sure that people know that they're welcome here. You have so many great programs going on, and I think that's what a lot of the folks in the community we're missing. Yes. So I want you to share with our audience some of the various group activities that you have, because you got something for men, women, children.
Yes, we do. So what we do, we try to cover everybody. We want everyone to have something to do here. So we have a women's group. We have a couple of women groups that meet once a month.
Okay.
And then we have a men's group that they meet once a month. And then we have a children and youth game night, which is really fun. They come out. We've had a room set up with all of the gaming equipment, computers, and so forth. And that's done every other Friday.
Okay, so that's done twice a month. So that gives them something positive to do. It takes them off the street. Yes. This is a safe place.
It is a safe place.
And that's important.
It is very important. So with the children, we have a training called Safe Sanctuary.
Okay.
Which means that we have, the right amount of adults to be here with the children to watch over them. So, and of course, we keep the church secure so that once you're in here, you're also physically safe as best as we can as well.
Yes.
And then we have a Wednesday noonday Bible study right now. We used to have it in the evening, and then we transitioned over to noonday. And it's a phenomenal Bible study. I am actually from that Bible study class, which I lead. I am actually writing a Bible study lesson.
Are you?
Yes, on Abraham and Sarah. So hopefully I will have that published in the next 2 months.
Really? So you're going to be a published author among your many, many talents. But let's circle back. That you worked in communications and print and all of that in a corporate setting.
I did as a human resources
Right,
professional.
but at least being around it to
Yes.
learn some things.
Amen.
Right, to just how
That's
things
right.
work. Right,
How
so
things
that
work. So
yeah.
I do have that experience,
Mhm.
and like you said, being around in that element,
Right.
because you glean so much.
Sure.
You may be there for one reason,
Mhm.
particularly, but the things that you glean from just being in a context or something, it gets in your spirit, and you attain knowledge that you never knew that you would have, just
Mhm.
looking at other people doing it.
So when it's not foreign. It's
not
be like,
foreign.
you
Yes.
know, and it was like, okay, that was what that part of the journey was for.
Yes.
Right, because I always tell people, you know, I didn't just get here.
Right.
In my real life, in my other life, whatever that was. But as my dad said, the one I went to college for, I wouldn't get a job. I was a social worker. But a lot of that experience has helped me with with this journey that I'm on. And so when I meet people and they share information, a lot of it is not foreign to me. Is what I'm saying.
That's correct.
So as with yourself. So a lot of those detours that you took when you were running from this calling.
Yes. I had my tennis shoes on.
He was running. But anyway, he ran you down. You could not outrun him.
Yes.
But not only yourself, your husband, we had the pleasure of meeting him.
Yes.
And he was very, very, very friendly and just really funny. Just really funny.
He is. Everyone always thinks he's funny, so I guess he has more of the comedian side.
Well, but you know what? That's a good thing. Yeah. But it's clear that he's here to support you, and then you have children. One's enrolled at a HBCU.
Yes, at FAMU.
All right.
That's my daughter, the youngest, and that's Lauren, and Tristan graduated from CSU.
Okay.
So, and he's the oldest, and Robert and I think we'll be married 32 years.
Oh, you only 33, so you was a baby bride.
Bless you.
I'll have to tell him that when I see him the next time. Yes.
So it'll be 32. Our oldest is 27, and the youngest is 20.
Okay.
So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, and so
they are part of this ministry.
Yes, they're part of this ministry. My son is a media tech person, and Robert is a trustee. So they are involved. My extended family, my sibling, and some of her. Children, grandchildren, they're here as well.
Okay.
I have some other people that are friends and I've met along the journey that are here as well. And
it's a wonderful, diverse congregation.
It's a wonderful, diverse congregation. This is one thing that I love that has grown into multi-ethnic, generationally.
So when you were doing that on the bishop's staff,
yes,
it was actually preparing you
for
all of this.
For all of this.
Because you got the age, the different ages, the ethnicities, and I observed that when we were worshiping. And I thought, economic status. Right.
All of those things, and I'm quite sure even political views maybe.
Oh, I'm sure of that.
Y'all can go anywhere with
because we have some, more conservative people, right?
Conservative, and so we have people that are more contemporary, and so we have a blended service that we do, and so it's diverse. We have a contemporary singer. I don't think she was here.
Right, Mandy, and yes, I've met her before. Out in the community.
A beautiful voice, as well as the music team that was here. We were here, wonderful people of God, and so I love being here. It is a calling. I feel like all of my prior experiences, they have brought me here.
It was leading to this assignment,
this appointment, this moment, and so I'm very aware of the diversity, and I lean into that.
Yes.
So I'm not one to run away from it or try to hide from it. I think that this is what church should look like.
It should.
I think this is what heaven
and it shouldn't be segregated on Sunday morning. Exactly. Well, and I think it's a beautiful combination.
Yes.
So share with our audience where you're located, how they can find out more information about you and all of this great work you're doing.
Yes, we are located at 2400 Devonshire Drive, Columbus, Georgia 31904. You can find us on the Facebook at Epworth UMC, Columbus, also on YouTube. And if you would like to email the church, you can email the church at church@epworthumc.com. And so our doors are always open, and so it's a wonderful place to be and a wonderful place to serve. And the people of God are just beautiful here.
And you all do a fantastic job. I felt so very welcome, my husband and I, and we certainly will be visiting again. It was just a wonderful experience, and I thank you so much for taking the time to share with us today.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And I want to say thank you to Justin Patton for
making us,
and
yes,
making us in connection here with
yes,
us. So
yes.
to God be the glory.
Yes, and he is
Amen.
amazing. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. This has been Straightforward. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Until next time, be blessed.
And so this is about so many miles east from Nazareth. It's in Galilee. And so he is supposed to be going to the northeast area to get to Assyria, but he goes to the furthest place he can, to the northwest, to get away from God. He went to Tarshish. Don't we run from God? Sometimes, it's going to tell us out this story right here as God is interrupting Jonah's life. It's that Jonah is running away from God. Then we're going to see Jonah start running to God. Then we're going to see Jonah start running with God. Then we're going to see Jonah with a conflict with God. Don't we do it that way sometime?
What up, world? What's up, Columbus? Be sure to tune in every Sunday, Straightforward with Gloria Strode, right here on NBC 38.